Baddest Radio, Episode 1, History in the Motherfucking Making, Take 1, Action. Only bad bitches slate their own podcast.
Bretman to Earth, Earth to Bretman.
Girl, you already know who it is. Motherfucking aloha, everybody. It is I, the baddest, yourself. Welcome to the Baddest Radio, Episode 1. Cue in the crowd scream. My soundboard is not here yet, you guys, but by episode 3, just know I will be having a soundboard and I will be more annoying. And yes, I do have socks on today because I am not going to have the comment section talking about my toes. Thank you very much. Wow, you guys, welcome to Leo season. Do you feel that? Because my hole is already so warm. I feel like Leo season brings out the warmness. And I just feel like what is a better way to start off the Baddest Radio with Leo season? Duh. So I turned 26 this year, which is so fucking disgusting. I never really thought I would ever make it out to this age, to be honest with you. Not that I would die or anything like that. I just really thought that I would stop aging by 21. Like, I think aging or turning it to a new age should be a choice, and I think this is the last year that I am making the decision to turn an age. So from now on, I'm gonna turn 26 every July 31st. Thank you very much. With that being said, let's talk about the Baddest Radio and how it came to life. This is episode 1, so this is not going to be really like the structure of the show. I really just wanted to introduce the Baddest Radio and what she's going to be all about. Welcome to my set. Let's start with the set, honestly. I wanted a set that obviously represents me, the baddest bitch. I personally would have loved filming this outside with a view and whatnot, but for those of you who are watching with, what do you call them? The video listeners? The video watchers? For those of the viewers. So the viewers versus the listeners. Wow. Thank you, Andrew. We have Andrew on set today, who is my videographer for the past, honestly, 4 years now, since we were shooting for MTV. I remember our first shoot together. Andrew, do you remember shooting my OnlyFans? We'll get to that sooner. We'll probably also interview Andrew. Anyways, this is about me. Fuck Andrew. We'll start off with the name, The Baddest Radio. Honestly, I was gonna have a podcast called Ma'am Sir, but I just really feel like that would have been too much play on words on like just me being non-binary, and I really just didn't want to make a whole show about just like my sexuality and even explaining what Ma'am Sir is. If you know, you know. So I came into just the Baddest Radio because it reminds me of Queen Radio, hosted by Miss Nicki Minaj, my queen. And it just has a great ring to it. No, I don't own 44.4, the station. 4 is just my angel number. So yeah, you guys might hear me refer to the Baddest Radio as 44.4, Baddest Radio, or maybe not. Oh, also, the Baddest Radio is a lot of the inspiration came from my book. I don't know if you guys see my book right here. You're That Bitch. My book was a lot of reference into my journal, which I will get into later on. But when I was writing my book, which was mid-COVID, I would sit with my writer every day and I'd refer into my journal every time we'd have something to talk about. And no, every time we would do a chapter, I would basically just go into my journal and go back into my notes from my past and, you know, start chapters through that. And I thought, what better way to start off episodes than go back into your journal and talk about where my life was at the time, what I was probably thinking. And so I would say the Baddest Radio is kind of like an extension, or what do they call it in shows? A prequel? No, this would be a sequel, I feel like. Bitch, just know it's a pre-sequel to my book. Okay? It's an extension of my book. You're That Bitch. I really don't have any explanation why I wanted to start a podcast. I will say I got into watching podcasts mid-COVID. I thought it was lame, low-key, like, no offense, but I used to think like podcasts were a bit Like, why the fuck would people watch this? And then my friends started making podcasts. Shout out to Pretty Basics. Shout out to We Said What We Said. Shout out to Unfiltered. Like, y'all, I get it. Y'all made me realize that I could really just listen to my friends talk. And I hope that this is what my podcast brings to you guys. I just hope that you guys like listening to a bad bitch talk about their life. That's basically it. Like, I really just started the podcast because all of my friends were having a podcast and I had FOMO. And also, I will say, I really kill all the podcast episodes slash guestings that I've been in. Like, if y'all watch all of my podcast guesting, comment down below because, bitch, I be killing that shit. And every time mid interviews, I'm always like, I could do this, if not better. Just kidding. Okay, so I guess we'll just start off with the journal entry that I would like to talk about today that will lead off the episode. And like I said, this will be having a full circle moment because you guys are going to be like, I'm going to gag y'all, literally, because I really feel like this is the first time you guys will realize that I'm not just a bad bitch, I'm a bad witch. Yeah. Okay, this is also the part of the episode where I regret saying that I want to hold the mic because, bitch, I'm not both-handed, girl. So every year I start a new journal, and it just so happens that this year I started it on January 25th. And if you look back, January 25th is the start of, you guessed it, Leo Moon. Like what? And when is this podcast coming out? Leo Sun, bitch. For the viewers who are watching this and is not rude enough to just like only listen to my podcast, guys, I'm literally begging you, please watch the visuals. Please watch this on YouTube. Like, I'm sorry, like, I'm not giving favoritisms or anything, but I love my viewers more than my listeners. I'm just kidding. Anyways, so if you guys are watching this on YouTube, I'm showing on the camera the 2 pictures that I took on the Leo Moon Day. And on the next page is what I will be reading to you guys, which is the word of the year, which is honestly what the word of my podcast is going to be. On January 25th, I wrote legacy. That is my word of the year. Legacy, because a legacy is what makes a legend, and therefore I am. 4 is my favorite number. So every time I write 4 in my journal, I just write the number 4. Even when I'm signing books for people, if you guys came to my meet and greets for my book press tour, every time I would put 2, I would put 4 and then the name. Because 4 is just my angel number. As y'all can see, I know y'all tired of me saying it, but literally. Okay, I'm going to read you the entry that I wrote. I also have never read this out loud before, so excuse me if I just sound illiterate. Anyways, here I go. Bretman, you have this life because it's your destiny. You did all of this because you believed you can. Always think back on why you love this so much. Only you have the power for your destiny. Bretman, you have this life because it's your destiny. You did all of this because you believed you can. Always think back on why you love this so much. Only you have the power for your destiny, what you do, your impact, and the amount of money you want to make. It's all in your hand. When in doubt, create. Let me repeat that. When in doubt, create. You created this legacy because you are one of the greatest creator of your time. Oh my God, who am I? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, but I do genuinely believe that I am the best creator of my time. Yes, I do believe that. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. Here I am telling myself otherwise, though. You created this. You created Bretman Rock. You created DaBaddest Radio. Don't ever doubt yourself. You have already done the impossible. Oh, for those of you who are not watching this, I was doing finger claps. Do y'all hear that? It would sound more better if I had my soundboard with me today, but, you know, Lindsay ordered that late. Anyways, so that was my very first journal entry for the year. I genuinely feel like, yes, this is my very first episode. There is a lot of fucking pressure. I don't know why I woke up so nervous today, as if I haven't been doing this since I was 16. But even just after reading that, I felt like the weight have lifted off my shoulder, and I just feel like there's nothing I can do or say that can take away my legacy. I can only just keep adding on to my legacy, and I just feel like the baddest radio will go down in history with me. Thank you very much. As some of you may have already know, a lot of podcasts are pre-filmed. I am filming this on the week of 4th of July. And I just felt like I want to talk about how the baddest radio, or my career even, has been kind of the American dream for me. For those of you who don't know, I'm an immigrant. I moved to Hawaii when I was 8 years old, and I'm still very much an immigrant. I am not a US citizen. I still am very much a Philippine citizen. Yes, I am. But I am working on that this year. When I first moved to America, and I'm so sorry if you guys have already read my book and you know this story, but when I first moved here, I remembered our first stop was Walmart. And the very first time I ever saw Bretman Rock on camera was at the CCTV. You know when you walk in at like a supermarket or like a superstore and they have like the cameras pointing at you down, and then you like, and it's like a live feed of the entrance. Girl, when I walked into Walmart and I saw myself for the very first time on TV, I stood in the entrance for a good 5 minutes just staring at myself like, am I on Big Brother? I swore I was on Big Brother, y'all, and I thought the world was seeing me through this Walmart CCTV, and that's when I realized that is where I belong. And I was 8, and I think it took me about like 8 more years until I started making videos. I started making videos when I was 16. A lot of people lie to me and be like, "Oh my god, I've been watching you since you were in middle school." I'm like, "Mama, I haven't started making videos until I was in high school." So like, fake fan. Like, don't even try. But I was 16 years old when I first filmed my viral video. This was Vine days, y'all. Vine days. And it was with Iggy Azalea's song Fancy. And I remembered I had like this fake scarf, this fake Versace scarf with sunglasses, and I pulled the scarf down and the glasses fell into my eye. And I remembered it was it went viral because I'm not sure who it was, but I remembered Kylie Jenner like liking it, because remember when Kylie was like in on Vine, like that was King Kylie era when she would just like make vines, but she liked it. I don't know if she posted it, but I remembered she liked it. And I went to bed, and by the time I had woken up, it had like 10K likes. And at the time, girl, nobody could motherfucking tell me shit because, girl, I live on an island. I didn't even say that yet. For those of you who are listening to this for the very first time, I live in Hawaii. I live on a little rock, and that's why my studio looks like this. I just remembered going to school that morning, and I remember doing my everything shower, girl. I woke up at 6 a.m. and I literally swore I was gonna go to school and everyone's gonna ask me about this newfound fame that I had. Bitch, I had my headphones on. I would always walk to school with people screaming, and my favorite one was Hannah Montana concert people screaming. If you Google that, if you go on YouTube and play that, that is what I used to walk to school to. And yeah, not a single bitch gave a fuck. I went to school that day and I literally had to ask people like, "Did you guys see my Vine? Did y'all see that Kylie Jenner like liked it?" Bitch, nobody cared. Not a single bitch cared. Nobody continued to care until probably like later on in my career, because like honestly, nobody really ever especially in Hawaii, like nobody really not cares, but nobody really, really, really understood Bretman Rock until like later on and what I was trying to do. I guess I have like the very classic story of like the only influencer in your school where everybody found you cringy. Not to a point where like I was being bullied or anything, but truly nobody gave a fuck. And I really think that is why I excelled so much, because I didn't have the pressure of pleasing people. I never really had the pressure of like putting on a persona, because even if I did put on this persona, nobody gave a fuck, because the persona of Bretman Rock has always existed ever since I was in 6th grade. Like, I'm not even 6th grade. Like, ever since I moved to America, girl, like, I've always been Bretman Rock. So when I did step into Bretman Rockinism, nobody gave a fuck, because nothing changed except now she just has more access to, let's just say, resources. I would even go as far as say nobody still gives a fuck here on island till this day, which is why I probably have stayed here my whole entire career. Just being the Leo that I am, and like having a big head already, and having the feeling of like the world revolves around me. I really feel like staying in Hawaii helped me stay grounded and not fly up way too high where my head is so big. Um, and I think that's why I'm like grounded still yet. So I think in a way I never really reflected back on like what my American dream was, or what American dream really is. I just know I'm living it. I am living my American dream. I'm not even an American yet, which is a low key flex. Like, girl, I'm not even an American. I'm out here living my American dream. Like, what? Um, but yeah, I'm so blessed to have lived this life. I'm so blessed to have been Bretman Rock, and just so blessed to have like the family and people that I grew up around, because I've just been love, and that's what my journal entry was about. Like, that's what I was talking about, where I just surrounded myself with love, and eventually you will become love as a person. And I think that's just what I embody. Like, yes, I'm a cunt, yes, I'm a bitch, but at the end of the day, I am love. And that's probably why I'm in love right now, but that's for another episode. Oh, y'all, I also realized that I haven't made a YouTube video for about 2 years now. And the last video that I filmed was a month ago. And it was my hair video, which really honestly took me like 40 minutes. And even when I was filming that, I realized how much I missed filming. And I think that is also why this podcast it's gonna help me heal in a way, and make me fall in love with YouTube and just like long formats again. I don't know why, I don't know when also I fell out of love with long format slash YouTube videos. I think I love making content because it is my vision, it is my creative, it is me editing it. It's even this whole entire room. I mean, I didn't paint this wall, but it was my vision. I love when it's my whole energy going into it. And I think this podcast is going to help me kind of heal in a way, because, mama, I have every last say in this podcast. You know what I mean? No pun intended, because I'm literally fucking just, I'm the only bitch. Yeah, actually, pun intended, bitch. I'm the only bitch. I'm the bitch with the mic in here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, without repeating myself again, I really feel like this podcast is going to help me heal and fall in love with YouTube and long formats again. And I'm just so very excited to see where it goes. But where have I been? All of that just to say, where have I been in the past 2 motherfucking years? Honestly, I just be out here cutting up my mangoes. Like, I just be cutting up my mangoes and eating them and sucking them and just living my life. No, but in all seriousness, bitch, I've been doing shit like the impossible. Let me go all the way the fuck back 2 years ago. I released my book, You're That Bitch. That was so fun. I felt like a movie star, honestly. Like, even just doing press tour, like, girl. Like, when Zendaya does her, like, press tours, like, when she does, like, the Spider-Man movies, and she just, like, dresses. And she also did it for The Challenger. And she just, like, kind of just walks carpets and like does interviews. I felt like I was living my movie fantasy life when I wrote my book, You're That Bitch. And Yeah, that kind of took over like my whole entire COVID life, honestly. And even right after COVID, that's when it released. And so that's what I've been doing. I've touched base on my little MTV series. Not me calling it my little girl. Let me not be humble like that. My motherfucking MTV series, 2 seasons to be exact. Thank you guys so much for all the love on that, honestly. And honestly, I would say the biggest fulfilling thing that I got away from the MTV thing is just knowing that it was island made, it was Hawaii made. A lot of everybody that was in the crew, besides the producers, were local, and it was like the most Hawaii project that I've ever worked on. I remember like during lunch break, the uncles would like cook fish that they just fished out in the sea. We spoke pigeons all day. Like even when I would film my what is it called? My interviews, like the when they cut up. What is that called? Yeah, even when I would shoot my testimonials, like they would have to keep reminding me to stop speaking pigeon because the whole set it just spoke pigeon. And I also shot a survival thing on YouTube. I shot a 1 week in the motherfucking jungle. If y'all want me to talk about that journey, girl, I will, because I just won't go on this because, bitch, it will take the whole fucking episode. But that was such a profound thing that I did. And yes, y'all, it was not a movie magic thing. I actually fucking camped out for a week. And I started every fire y'all saw in there. I ate everything y'all saw me eat. But the one thing that I will say, and I never really got to talk about, is I did not shit that whole week, y'all. When I tell you, I got back home, the first place I went to, the bathroom. Bitch, my shit was giving the bull. If y'all know what the bull is, ew, ew. Shit happens. Let's just say that. I don't want to talk about it. I will talk about what my shit looked like if y'all want me to talk about it on a different episode though. But y'all, I took the fattest shit of my life right after that motherfucking 1 week in the jungle, girl. I could see every guava seed I ate. I could see every dust I inhaled was in that, girl. But I think I couldn't shit for a week because also I was like, what the fuck does one shit? Anyways, too much shit talking. After that, I did my Vogue cover for the Philippines. That whole thing, y'all, we went to the island of Sikihor, which is probably the most magical island, is what they call it. But there was also a lot of Aswang's stories that were going on around. Aswang is like ghosts or monster stories, and it was just a very witchy, magical island, and that whole thing. No pun intended again, but it was just so magical. I felt like I turned into somebody else. And I feel like right after I shot my Vogue cover for the Philippines, I feel like I stepped into a new light. That's another thing that's gonna need an episode of her own, but Vogue Philippines, girl, we really ate that up. Shout out Brian Meller. And speaking of Brian Meller, I've also been taking fashion very seriously. I've been traveling, y'all. I'm not only going to New York Fashion Weeks now, y'all. I'm going to Paris Fashion Weeks. I haven't gone to Milan yet, but I will be getting invited to Milan. That's not even an option. But yeah, I've just been also stepping into my fashion world. Something that I'm manifesting is a more serious fashion brand for hopefully Brian and I. Um and it's just also been really cool to see what I have kind of done for myself in the fashion industry. I feel like, especially in the realms of non binary clothing, I really feel like I am kind of doing that when it comes to non binary representation in the fashion industry. So, shout out to me and Brian motherfucking Meller. Also, Brian, if you're listening to this, please come on my podcast. Now, I would like to move on to things that I'm looking forward to and hoping for this podcast. All in all, I just want to look at this first episode again on my 100th episode and skip to this part and probably like take off everything that I'm about to say. That is the goal. By 100th episode, I will be visiting my first episode to this part, and everything needs to be taken off. Period. What I'm hoping for this podcast is to one get to know the love of my lives. Is one, I want to get to know the people that I love more. I think a lot of people, when I first announced this podcast, is who are you gonna have on? And honestly, I just want people that I love on my podcast. I don't need to be meeting people on my podcast, especially because I'm filming this at home. Like I feel and two, there's already so many podcasts out there where it's like very interviewed based. You know, you're getting to know people that are already famous who's probably done thousands of interviews. I, on the other hand, want to interview people that I love. I want to have my sister on here. I want to have my little nieces and nephews on here. I want to have the people that I work with on here, like my assistant. Y'all need to know my assistants, Miss Lindsay and Kat. They're those girls. I want my mother on here because, well, my mother on here is giving very much a Filipino all Filipino episode. Because girl, we're not gonna have her speaking English. She's not gonna want to. I want my brother on here. He's already said that he's willing to be on here, and I want to ask him about his drugs. Like my brother is so open to talking about drugs and his drug abuse problems, and him and I had our very first serious talk, and it's kind of embarrassing that it wasn't until I was in my mid 20s, but I was just like, we were crying on the phone, girl, like just talking about how proud we are of each other. And I would love to have my brother on here. So, yeah, all that to say, I just want my friends and family on my podcast, and I hope I get to know them more. Two, another thing that I'm manifesting for my podcast is to obviously have the best podcast in the world. I don't really know if they have like podcast awards. Olivia, are there podcast awards that I can win?
Yes, there are podcast awards that you can win. There are several. The Shorty, the Webby, the iHeart.
All right, y'all heard Olivia, girl. Y'all heard Olivia, girl. This podcast is going down in history as the best and the baddest podcast in the world. I'm talking to you, Shorty. I'm talking to you, Webby. And I'm talking to you, iHeart, bitch. Give me my crown already. Because I have a space right here in my counter for a little trophy. Do you see this? Yeah, it will be right there by my 100th episode. So, yeah, you have time, Shorty, Webby, and iHeart. Number three, I am manifesting this podcast to. Oh, yeah, I should shoot my shot too. If y'all want anything advertised, let me know. Let Dear Media know. We are taking advertisements, and I really do fierce ad reads. I'll just put that out there now. You know, if you have a brand out there that you want to be in my podcast, hit my line, DaBaddest Radio 44.4. While I'm already here, I might as well shoot my shot to all of my favorite brands. Like, why not? Notorium? I'm looking at you, girl. Give me an ad read. Skims. Hey, Skims. Pills. Girl, your digestive gut instinct. Who else got money? Motherfucking. Who got money? Liquid IV. Girl, I'm looking at you, girl. I know you got money. Also, give me an island flavor, girl. Like, let's do fruit punch. Let's do Liquid IV X Bretman Rock fruit punch. Or let's do Liquid IV X Bretman Rock mango tango. Yeah, I'm just using this last section of my fucking podcast now to just shoot my shot. And lastly, but not the leastly, DraftKings. So yeah, that's me manifesting. Number four, not to go back to like really deep shit, but like number four is I want to be uncomfortable. Like I really feel like this podcast is going to make me one talk to myself more, as if I already don't talk to myself enough. But I want to push myself again in not that I okay. I want to push myself as a content creator to create more. And, just to wrap up from my journal, when in doubt, create, girl. And I just want to enjoy what I'm doing. And I think this podcast is going to let me see that. And I guess in a way, not only enjoy, but I hope this podcast makes me uncomfortable and challenges me in ways that hasn't challenged me before. Like, I feel like even today, yes, this is just upstairs from my room, but I really feel like I was walking on set today, girl. Like, I thrive on sets, is what I'll say. And it's going to be really interesting walking into set at least once a week to talk about my week. So I'm very excited about that. And all in all, just to encompass what I was trying to say with being more comfortable, I just want to get more closer with myself, with Bretman Rock. I journal every day. And now that I get to talk to myself once a week, mama, who needs therapy? Speaking of therapy, BetterHelp, I know you're watching. I'll do an ad read for you as well. Yes, yes. The last thing that I will say that I would want this podcast to do is I've talked about how I wanted to get to know the people that I love more. I've talked about how I'm going to get to know the myself more. Lastly, I just hope that this lets you guys into my life more. I hope that this podcast lets you guys into my heart a little bit more. I feel like I've shared so much of my life on the internet, but I think there's still so much of me to share, which is kind of like a big flex. Like, I post every day in my story, but I really feel like you guys still don't know me that much. Yeah, I remember I tweeted something in 2020 where it's like, I post myself every day, but I still feel like you guys don't know me, or I feel like I'm still kind of private, which I really love. But I just hope that this podcast lets you guys know that as much of a bad bitch that I am also, I have great shoulders in my shoulders, not just dandruff, and that a bad bitch raised me. Like, shout out to my grandmother, girl. She is the true light of my life. And I just hope that you guys know that I'm a good, good person. That's all. And now I will wrap out the show with the most beauty guru thing that I could think of, which is recommending products. Every episode will be me recommending products of the week that I've been loving, maybe even songs. It's not necessarily even going to be always products that you need to spend your money on. Like this week, the product of the week that I am recommending, drum roll please. I really feel like I also should record like a product of the week, baby. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. The product of the week that I think everyone should get, especially straight man, journal. If you guys are an avid DaBaddest Radio listener, please get your journal so we can journal together. Maybe even I can even have a call-in journal sessions with y'all some days where we read each other journal entries, or you guys read me a journal entry and I probably give you an advice from that, or just react to your journal entries. But please make a promise to me. If you're the Baddest Radio listener, please get yourself a journal this week and just journal down anything you want to journal. I kind of just use my journal as an all-in-one kind of thing, like where yes, I'm manifesting in it. Yes, I'm talking about what I need at the grocery store. I'm literally even putting down like pictures of things that I saw. Like, this was a butterfly that I saw hatching. I journaled about it. I also would love to talk to you guys about the power of your pen is just as strong as the power of your tongue. I think that's the reason why I have everything that I have today, is because before I put it out in the world, I already spoke it out and I already wrote it out. So that's that. And I'll give you guys, for the viewers back home who are watching this, look at this cute little page I have with my boyfriend asked me to be his boyfriend. So cute. I can't wait to have him on here. So yeah, get yourself a journal, especially to straight men with podcasts. Some of y'all need to just fucking write it down. Some of y'all need to not fucking speak. Period. And some of y'all need the fucking mics taken away. Cut the fucking cord, like literally. And don't fucking make a podcast. Honestly. Some people don't need a podcast. Straight men, especially. All right, you guys. Well, that was episode 1. I hope you guys enjoyed. If I missed anything, it's okay because, bitch, I'm about to shoot episode 2 right now. I'll see you guys for episode 2 for wherever you get your podcasts from. Like I said, you guys can watch me on YouTube. She's also on Spotify. She's an iTunes girly. She's also on Amazon. Bitch, if you can listen to a podcast, I'm probably there. Okay? And hopefully one day I will have a radio station where you just tune in 44.4 and I'm just there talking. Yeah, that is my last manifestation actually. That's manifestation number 5 for DaBaddest Radio. Is that I will have my own radio station one day, like Oprah with her own channel. DaBaddest Radio 44.4. And yeah, follow me in all of my social media. Everything is at Bretman Rock. Duh. And make sure you guys like and rate my podcast. I mean, give it a 5-star thumbs up, please. I don't really know how to rate it. Is it a star? Is it a thumb? Bitch, however you're rating it, give me the highest rating as you can possible. I'll see you guys for episode 2 where I discuss my mid-20s. I can't believe I'm turning 26. Bye, bitch. I'll see you next Thursday. Yeah. Don't forget to follow, rate, and like. You can follow me at Bretman Rock on everything and follow the podcast at DaBaddest Radio on all social media. Bye, bitch!